All right, hey everybody, welcome back. It's Sunday night, it's Walking Dead time. Let's talk about it. So we're doing season 9, episode 7. It's called Stradivarius, so full spoilers if you have not seen this episode yet. It just ended. And I just really quickly, I want to talk about last week's review. I was watching, I have a person I really like on YouTube. His name is Darren Jakes. He does D's reviews. If you happen to been to his channel, I highly recommend you checking him out. He does an incredible review of The Walking Dead every week. And he just kind of made me think, he brought up a lot of things that made a lot of sense last week's, big after Rick show. And in my attempts to be positive, I was ignoring a lot of the negatives. Because I didn't want to come right out of the gate dissing the show and not giving it a chance after Rick was over, after Rick left. Especially since I was on the fence about reviewing the show after Rick left, or even watching it period before Rick even left. And so I pride myself on being honest. And I honestly can say that I was not being very subjective last week and was letting a lot of things slide that I shouldn't have. I still like last week's episode, except for the stupid Henry shit. But a lot of that stuff last week was really manufactured drama, and things just weren't making sense that I was letting go. And I will not let that happen again. To spare audience members from not being too happy with what I have to say. So going forward, I will be calling it out a lot more. This episode, though, really had no manufactured drama. It just, there was just a lot of setup and a lot more little tidbits of information about what happened in between the time that Rick has died and now. We really didn't get any answers, but we got some more pieces of the puzzle. Like, we know that Maggie left to go be with, what'd they call her? I don't know. I'll remember it in a minute. She went off to help her with that community. She took Herschel with her. And what we also know is that there's like no communication between Alexandria and Hilltop. Again, we need, if they don't give us like answers, like real good like flashback episodes or something to explain what went on. I'll say this, it's ballsy to not tell us. It's ballsy to not show us. It puts a lot of faith that we're just going to accept things as they are. That being said, I really would like to see what happened between them, because yeah, of course there's going to be problems with Rick being gone. And there may be some blame going around, like between Daryl and Maggie. But I feel like after Rick sacrificed himself, it was a time to really come together and not fall apart. So I don't really know if the show knows what it's doing in this respect. I do feel like we are gonna, Georgie, see, I knew I was gonna remember it. Maggie's with Georgie. But I feel like we will eventually get answers, but next week's the mid-season finale. So that means we're not going to get answers next week, and we're not going to get answers probably until sometime next year. And even then, I'm not sure we're going to get them. Not the way that I want them anyway. We may just get a lot more information verbally. Yeah. Things I noticed now, Daryl's only got one of his angel wings on his back. He lost one, so that sucks. I'm not going to destroy my hoodie that has the angel wings on the back just to match him, but sucks. And he also has the same scars as Michonne. So this again, and that's really where I was like, okay, what the fuck happened? Now that we, like with the beginning of this, we are confirming the whispers really hardcore with Rosita running through the woods, confused, head wound, hearing voices that are going to, be what she heard. She's probably not really hearing them that close now. She's probably just traumatized and hearing them like echoes in her mind. But on the run from what will be known as the Whisperers, I do like that beginning. But what's going to probably happen though is when they, after they found her and they brought her back to Hilltop, and when she wakes up, she's not going to really know what she's going to say that she heard things. She's going to sound like the Whisperers, or like, that they were talking, that the zombies were talking. Now, also from next week's trailer, it looks like they're going to be right in the thick of it. This will be our real, I think, introduction to the first encounter, the first real encounter with the Whisperers. So by the time they get back to Hilltop, it might be a little more confirmed as to what's actually going on with the walkers right now, or what people think are talking walkers. So that's going to be really interesting as far as they pull that off. I don't know how long next week's episode is going to be, but we'll see. Hopefully it's longer than the Rick disappearance episode. So we've got this whole thing still going on with Michonne not wanting to go to Hilltop because of Maggie. And she doesn't know what Maggie will do if she comes there. So again, just even more, like I said, this show's starting to turn into Lost, man. The mysteries are piling up. Henry, let's talk about Henry. And by that I mean, can we just not talk about Henry? Can we just kill him off, please? Because there is no storyline that they could come up with that'll make me go, boy, that Henry guy is great to have around. I'm so glad they haven't killed him off. There's nothing they can do to win me over on this guy. They just can't. And this whole thing where he tries to, Carol's brought him to Daryl to, be an apprentice to help. He wants to apprentice at the Hilltop blacksmith, but she wants Daryl there to watch his back. And I think Daryl's got the right idea. He needs to figure it out, just like they did. And I don't think that's too harsh, because in this world, you've got to be tough. You've got to figure shit out. And having too many people holding your hand is just going to get you killed, and make you soft. And I'm sorry, but that's how I feel about it. And that whole scene where he's trying to, help Daryl, free the dog from the walkers, and in the end he does that little move and everything. Now, that's not going to get me to start going, yeah, Henry, woo, you rock. No, you don't rock, you suck. And as soon as they can kill this guy off, will be better. Maybe that'll, I don't know. I just, I can't have it. I can't. Every time he's on screen, I'm just like, man. But it doesn't, I can't get too mad because Carol likes him. So it's like, oh, Carol, you have terrible taste in children. But with her track record, with kids, maybe Henry will be gone pretty soon. I do like that Daryl's out there, and the whole reason he was out there was to find Rick, to look for the body, but that it just became easier to be out there alone, because that's kind of Daryl's natural state of being, is out there looking for stuff and making runs and just being, before this he was made to be out there on the land. So kind of domesticated Daryl is not really going to happen. It never really was, even in the best of times. But now that they've figured out a way to get him back to Hilltop, I feel like it's more of a way to get the group back together and not necessarily going to be him being Henry's chaperone. I think it was more of a device to get everybody back together for the fight that is going to come. Jesus in charge of Hilltop, I like. That music that they played on the way to Hilltop was pretty fucking lame. If they wanted, I didn't mind that they showed that he was listening to it on the record player. But when the music build-up, like showing Hilltop and everything and playing this music over it, I felt like I was watching a fucking episode of Smallville or something. Where they play music constantly on those kind of shows, and I was just kind of, and there's a lot of music going on in this show, and somebody else has brought it up. I think it was D again. Yeah, the music can go away. It's taking me out of it. Thanks, but I don't need it. I don't need musical interludes from pop singers or whatever the hell that was. Yeah, no. But Jesus being in charge and also not wanting to be in charge, wanting to be out there in the thick of it, again, makes sense. But again, if he doesn't want it, why are they making him another reluctant leader? Just give it to Tara. She's fine with it. It gives her something to do. It gives her character something to do. So that way she's not useless and then, easily killed off on the show. Unless that's where they're wanting to go with it. Enid doesn't look like she's aged a day in the last 7 years or 6 years or whatever it is. And Henry's got the hots for her. She'd be like, let's see, he'd probably be about 13, 14, and she'd be about 20. I don't know. I don't know how that works out, how the math works. So, ew. The new group, I'm liking even more and more. The comic book versions of themselves are matching up really well. I really like Dan Vogler. I like the whole story he told about when he was talking about the importance of music and musical instruments and art and how it pertained to the development of society. I thought that was a really good story delivered by a really good actor. I was actually kind of afraid later on that he was going to get killed off. If he were to die, I'd be really disappointed. Initially, if they killed him off too soon, I think he isn't up and coming really. He's been in big movies now with both of those Grindelwald movies or whatever, the Fantastic Beasts movies, that's what they are. He's somebody to really look out for, so it kind of feels like a coup that they could get somebody like that. But I guess these days, if you get asked to be on The Walking Dead, you just go, yeah. Even now, 9 seasons in, people still kind of want to be on the show, which is kind of cool, kind of weird. But that's just me, because one of the things that I take away from this is it does feel like it's ramping up to the end. Something about this episode just kind of made me go, it feels like we're leading somewhere close to an ending, because it just didn't have that energy that I usually feel in these, when we're in the middle of a season. And maybe it was just because there was a lot of just talking, despite, the little Walker fight with Daryl and Henry, and the Walker fight at the end with Michonne and the new group, which also is cool. It shows, that they all can work together, that they're badass. Yumiko with the bow and arrow, and the one kid with the slingshot, and Magna with the knives. They have, Dan Fogler's character has the power to hold a bag. So, I don't know. He's a good character, but I don't know about his fighting skills. Speaking of fighting skills, okay, so apparently there's got to be somebody that really likes the Pink Panther movies in here, because Aaron pulls like a Kato impression when he comes out of nowhere, like the like Kato in the Pink Panther movies, and just launches at Jesus out of nowhere. That's the first thing that I thought of, was Kato from the Pink Panther movies, where he just shows up out of nowhere attacking Inspector Clouseau. That's probably like a 5% joke there that people will understand. But I thought it was really great that he just comes out of nowhere, tackling Jesus off the horse, and they have their little sparring match. And I like that that's also the way that they still communicate with the communities, trying to keep them open. It's like, I'm not going to say it, it just reminds me also a little bit of like Romeo and Juliet without the romance part, like two families separated, nobody wants to, they got to go through like little secret meetings to meet up with the families that don't really want to talk to each other, that have become enemies. Romeo and Juliet was a stretch, I think, but it was I couldn't think of any other thing. And so, yeah, now that Michonne knows that Rosita's back and Daryl's back, it's like all happening all at the same time, which does feel a little manufactured. That everybody's Carol, Daryl, Michonne, everybody's suddenly going to be at Hilltop when this happens. And now they're all going out to find Eugene. So all these little coincidences do feel a little manufactured here at the end, just to get things where they want them to go. But other than that, it was an all right, solid episode. I'm not going to do backflips for it, but because it still has problems. I'm still not 100% convinced that Angela Kang and the writer staff and the people in charge know what they're going to do. It still feels kind of like they're just fumbling around a little bit, but you know, it's still better than nothing, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to be honest, but I'm still trying to be positive. And so far, you know, so far so good. We'll see. If you know, as long as next week's episode doesn't shit the bed, and we'll have like a couple of months to, like, you know, speculate even more endlessly on the internet about what's going to happen next. And that'll be good enough for a while. I think after next week we'll need a little break from everything. So anyway, if you liked this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. Otherwise, this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying thanks for all the support. Thanks for choosing to watch this video, because there's a ton of people that make Walking Dead videos. And we will see you next time.